guys, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is 2 o'clock on World Card Making Day 2021, which means it is time for my time with you. So I'm going to just do a quick refresh over here to be sure that all of my sign-ins and all of my groups are in the right place. Oh, look at that. I actually made it to the right spot. So I'll get myself big so I can see who's on. Hey, Karen. Hi, Amy. Appreciate you joining. I hope everybody is having fun today and enjoying all of the super projects. We have got some very, very talented ladies in our group. Sorry for the little earthquake there. I had to move my stand. Okay, so for those of you who are normal watchers of my videos, just remember there will not be a video tonight at 7. This is it. So, you know, enjoy it and stuff. All right, so here's the card I made, and it uses 2 bundles that go together like peanut butter and jelly. All right, we've got the Christmas season bundle and the Christmas to remember bundle. And if you can't remember which stamp set goes with which dies, well, okay, I can't either. It's okay. Just look in your catalog and you will see that the Christmas season has no sentiments, but all the sentiment label dies. And Christmas to remember has all the sentiments and none of the dies. All right. That's why I said they go together like peanut butter and jelly. So, you know, just buy them both. I'm just saying. We're going into Christmas and they are perfect. And they have pine cones. Interestingly, I have used not one pine cone in today's card. I used the whole bundle, but not one pine cone. Hey guys, how are y'all? I appreciate you joining. Hi Sylvia and Gina, Jenny and Judy and Deborah and Amy. I know Amy. I know who you are, Amy. I've heard of you before. Don't you? Aren't you a demonstrator? I think you're a demonstrator. I mean, I've heard you are. And then I used the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder, which is really, really awesome. I'm just going to tell you right now, please don't anybody ask what music this plays. I have no idea. I learned to play the piano as a small child. And I know that there's some 8th notes and some 16th notes and some 32nd notes. And that's the extent of it. I also know I couldn't play it if I tried. And I don't really know whether it's supposed to go this way or that way. So I'm just putting it on however I want. It's cool. All right, all of this information and all of the instructions will be on my blog tomorrow. Is it Joy to the World, Deborah? Oh, I was trying to make it be Jingle Bells, and I couldn't. So Joy to the World sounds awesome. That's very cool. All right, look what we learned today. Joy to the World in embossing. Okay, so I will put the link to the blog post in the comments when I get it live. It'll go live tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, and the video will also be back on this page and on YouTube. Okay, so here is our card. You can see where I have done the embossing, and then I have used almost all of my green colors to make greenery. This is with the Christmas season stamp set, cut out with the matching dies. And then I have a cherry cobbler sentiment from, yes, the other set, which is season or Christmas to remember. See, I can't even get it right when I'm looking at the stamp case. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And I've done a little cutting ahead of time, which should make you very, very happy. Hello, Fred from Dover, New Hampshire. Hello. I lived in Dover, Delaware for a while. That's almost like Dover, New Hampshire. Actually, when I moved to Dover, Delaware, I thought it was New England because it was on the East Coast and kind of north. I was really wrong. It is so not. So I am going to not try to adhere that to that white piece. I am going to take a piece of basic white. It's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, which is kind of my normal card front size. And I am going to use a little liquid glue. I do like Stampin' Seal. I've been using Stampin' Seal, but this really is my go-to. And I can't help myself very much. I really love liquid glue. One thing to remember, the most common complaint I hear about liquid glue is it smushes out everywhere. I promise you that means you're using too much. If you think you need this much, use this much, half of it, okay? It's really, really strong. A little dab will truly, truly do you, okay? Now, I told you I had done some stamping and cutting, so let me show you what we got. A little inventory of greenery here. And here we go. I've got pine boughs, of course, and the pine boughs are in Mossy Meadow. And then I have some holly leaves in Shaded Spruce. I told you I used all of them. And then I have some old olive leaves of some sort. And then I have some garden green leaves of some sort. And I'm going to put them all together, and then I'm going to add gold holly leaves because who doesn't love those? All right. So you can use the pictures of my sample Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Hi, Tammy. I am glad I'm on before the game, too. All right. So, anywho, you can use my sample, or you can do like I did, which was take 20 minutes until I got the aha moment. You know how that is, where you finally get all the pieces and parts in the place that you want them, and your brain says, yep, that's it. And then you take a picture with your phone so that you can recreate it. I'm just telling you that. But I would go ahead, if I was you and you were me, but we're neither of those, I would go ahead and use my example pictures. So what I'm going to do basically is both sides are going to get 2 pine boughs, because I love them very much. And then each side is going to get an old olive leaf of whatever it is, like so. And then it's all going to get a garden green leaf of whatever this is. And it's also going to get a shaded spruce holly leaf. Okay. And then when I get done, I'm going to tuck my gold leaves in underneath. Sound like a plan? Okay, Stanley, let's do it. That was a little play on sound like a plan, Stan. Thanks, Marcia, I appreciate that. Hi, Akiko. All right, so I'm using liquid glue. Now, here's a tip for when you're building a collage, especially when you want to do some tucking later. And I do like to tuck these later. So don't put glue all over the leaves. Just put glue at the base of the leaf. That way, it does a couple of things. First of all, it gives you room to tuck, because you can just slide things in. But it also lets the leaves stand up just a little bit, which gives it a little more look of dimension. That's just me. You can do however you want. If you really love to put a lot of liquid glue, do it. You be you. You do you. That's the joy of card making, right? So earlier there was a post asking what you drink during the day. You can tell I am talking about 7,000 miles a minute right now. So iced coffee is my go-to, and I've only had 2 cups today. Of course, it's this size cup. I'm not sure if that really is a cup, but you know. But there's a lot of ice, so it really hardly is anything. So I'm a little bit wired for sound, just saying. Alrighty, here we go. The boys are getting hay. Finn went with Wayne. There was actually no way he was going to get to go without Finn by any stretch. Finn has been standing by every time we move towards a door all day, because he hears us say the words, go get hay. And so he's like, I'm in. I'm so in. And they are getting our hay for the year. We'll get 10 bales, and that will last until, well, we're on our last bale of it from last year right now. So the girls are happy. They like it when hay comes. Don't need to be coy, Roy. That's right. Just get off the bus, Gus. Don't get me started on that. My goodness. Don't. Everybody's like, no, Karen, don't make her do that. Alrighty. So I'm just putting that. And what I do like to do when I can remember where it is, I've got my sentiment, and this is my sentiment in cherry cobbler, and I cut it with one of the dies in the seasonal labels. And it helps to just kind of put that on occasionally as you're putting the second group to be sure that you're making it so they stick out far enough. Does that make sense? It should make sense because it makes total sense to me. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to continue with my liquid glue. Little more liquid glue. I'm getting a little far down there, I think. Okay. And then we'll do this little guy. This one's another old olive. Let me put him back on just to double check. Dry fitting is your friend, people. Especially when you're making a collage card. Dry fitting is your friend. Also remember my favorite saying, oh, why would you say that, Amy? Now I have to sing something. What should it be? Which of my wonderful show tunes would you like, Amy? I know you've been wanting them. Should we go with the classic? Are y'all expecting me to sing? Is that the deal? Are you thinking I'm going to sing? There you go. I should, because it's apparent that I need some extra caffeine. But that is a great idea, Deborah, because it does get watered down. That is for sure. Yes, planning a collage is very good. But it is true that you can make it and you can rearrange it and you can do all the things and your brain's like, nope, nope, nope. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, There it is. Here's another good reason to use liquid glue. When you see that you don't have it where you want it, you're good to go. One little tip, you don't want your leaves sticking out past your card base. It can, obviously, and I think it should, I like it when it does, stick out past the edges of your card front. But you don't want it over your card base, or you'll have a little trouble with the whole, you know, I can't sing Joy to the World. That one is well out of my range, but the hills are alive with the sound of music. I feel it bubbling up. It'll come here in just a second. Anyway, if you use liquid glue, then you can rearrange it and get everything how you want. And I am liking that right there. So now I'm going to pop these up on my dimensionales. And I'm going to, here's another tip. When you're tucking, keep your dimensionals towards the middle, especially if you think you might want to tuck. Now, tucking is a little more random than the basic collage, so you don't know exactly where they might end up. So I like to put my dimensionals here in the center of my sentimente. All right. Hey, Penny. Appreciate you joining. Uh-oh, Jean. Jean, is that a request for singing? No. I think Amy wants me to sing. I know she does. All right. So here we go. And I'm just going to, hopefully that doesn't drop me off. Oh, no. Hang on. It's going to come back in a minute. Sorry about that. I forgot to put do not disturb. And of course, my husband has to call me right in the center, right in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to put that right there like so. And then we're going to start doing a little tucking of our gold holly leaves. And so here's the thing. These little holly leaves, they're a little hard to adhere with liquid glue. It takes them a second to take. But when you're tucking, liquid glue is your friend. If you put a glue dot on here, which you certainly can, and I will for the other embellishment on the front, it's really hard to tuck a glue dotted leaf. I'm just saying. Okay, here we go. I know these leaves are amazing, and I'm like on my third bin of them already. All right, so remember there's a big size and a little size, and I'm just going to tuck them like that. So you get these little peaks. That's P-E-E-K, peaks of gold leaf, like that. And then we'll use another big one. Another big one. That's a technical term. If you are a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you are welcome to use that term. If not, you're going to have to sign up if you want to use big ones like that as a term. Okay, so I'm going to put 3 over on that side. I don't like how that one is sitting, so I'm going to tuck it right there. You can see how easy it came up. Like I said, it takes the liquid glue a second to do its job on these little guys. It must be the kind of material they're made out of. Hey, Carol. I know, the gold leaves are like perfect. I know. Okay, Penny, I'm going to sing here in just a second, okay? Just a second. I feel it kind of coming on. But it has to build up, kind of like the caffeine in my system has to build up. Okay, we're going to tuck that right there like so. And then I think we'll do another big one. Here we go. This guy's going to go right there. See, by leaving the liquid glue off of the bigger part of the leaf, I am able to tuck at will. And by using glue instead of glue dots, all is wonderful. Okay, so there's that. And I'm just going to let those set for a second and think about what they've done. And I'm going to make a little holly decoration with 2 large ones, large leaves. We'll do them the same way. And what I'm going to do here is peaks, not peaks. Exactly correct, like the hills and the sound of music. Exactly. Someone refresh her coffee so she'll sing. Careful what you wish for. Just careful, I'm just saying. You know, there was a reason I am not a singer. It's because I am not a singer. All right, so I've just put a glue dot on the tip of that holly leaf, and then I'm going to stick that little holly leaf dooha right on there. And then I'm going to take my holiday rhinestones, and I'm going to use the largest because they actually look like berries, and I'm going to stick them right on the end at the juncture. Okay, like a so. Exactly like a so. And that just looks like a total not holly leaf, but it's okay. It's art, people. It's art. Okay. Now I have some gold trim from the Simply Elegant Trim Pack. And what we're going to do, bigger biggie tucking by tacking. Got it so far? Exactly. You've got it. You're in. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a single loop bow, which is like a double loop bow, only half as many loops, okay? And you want to just hold the end between your thumb and forefinger and wrap around, and I'm only going twice. So actually it's more like a quarter loop bow, really, if you think about it, but let's not think about it that hard. And then you can, I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger than that by pulling it kind of apart. And then twist it into a figure 8, and sometimes the trim wants to be persnickety. You know when it really wants to be persnickety is when you're doing it on camera. I could do this all day long when I'm not on camera. Then you're going to hold your tweezers, which I assume everyone has because, hello, they're tweezers. Reverse tweezers are the thing. And hold it together kind of like that. And the just so you know, it this is not as easy to use as linen thread, okay? So you may have to play with it a second. Don't get discouraged. You can make it work, I promise. Okay? And if you really wanted to get down deep into the weeds, you could probably use a glue dot there, but I'm not, because that might make it easier. And that would be crazy. And then I'll take another piece. You don't need near this long, but it's a piece that I had left over, so I'm using it. And you're just going to tie it around the juncture. You see how I'm using the tweezers as a third hand? Because I don't actually have 3 hands, I only have 2. Okay. And then you can take it apart, and it's not going to look quite like Farrah Fawcett's hair because there's not enough hair, but maybe Farrah Fawcett, as an older woman, even though, God help her, she was a gorgeous lady. It's no wonder Lee Majors liked her. All right, so you're just going to play with this a little bit until you make it be pretty the way you want. And you're going to tighten up that bow a little bit. Got to find the one that's an actual bow tightener. Okay? And then let's come over. Oh, see, I was offered a free ticket to see Sound of Music, and you didn't get to go. You didn't want to offend Amy. Now, how would you going to the Sound of Music offend Amy? Because I would have gone. You should have called me. I would have gone with you. I would have taken your free ticket. Except I bet it was in Florida, so it would have been a heck of a drive. All right, here we go. Okay, so I've got that mostly looking how I want it. And now I'm going to use a glue dot to adhere this right there. Right there. See where I put it? Okay. And then we'll adhere this bow like so. Then I'm going to put another glue dot on top of the bow. Are you watching carefully? This is very important stuff. Another glue dot on top of the bow, and right here I'm going to put a dimensional, because you really can never have too many dimensionals on your card. I'm just saying. Okay, just saying, just throwing it out there. I mean, I suppose you could, but you can't. You really can't. Alrighty, there we go. And then I'm going to take off that dimensional cover. I'm going to pick him up because I don't like where he went. I'm going to pick him up and stick him right there, so he's closer to that, because you're using him to adhere your little holly leaf guy, And you're going to adhere him this way, like so. All right, and then you can snip these ends. And your bow is going to extend a little bit, but it will go in the envelope, I promise. And if you don't like these quite so sticky-outy, you can certainly cut them smaller. All right, so there's the front. I'm going to set that aside for just a second. And for my second act, I'm going to do our inner liner. And here's how we're going to do that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that very much. I am going to stamp a sentiment. It's from Christmas to Remember. I'm going to do it in cherry cobbler. Now here's my big tip. everybody's giving you so many tips. I feel kind of bad that I'm not actually giving you any tips. Well, my tip might be don't drink 87 ounces of coffee before you do a video. Maybe that could be the tip. When you're using the red rubber stamps, also called cling stamps, when you can't see through them, what I recommend is that you use your grid paper and stamp it once first. And you want to do that so that you know that if you line those words up straight, that it's going to stamp straight, because that is a pure function of, one, how good a job you did putting the sticker on, and two, how good of a job Stampin' Up! Did etching the design into the rubber. Okay, so if you know ahead of time that it's cockamamie, you can compensate. All right, this one appears to not be cockamamie. Thank you. And so I'm going to use my highly calibrated Mark 1 eyeball to make that get straight on there. And it is. And then I'm going to add some foliage in the bottom corner. And I'm going to do it, it's going to be very, very, very scientific. Okay? By which I mean not at all. It's just going to be what looks good. And I'm going to stamp the same images on my envelope. So, because hashtag no naked envelopes. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that out. So first off, let's do a shaded spruce holly leaf. And I only want one. Actually, we'll do him last. Okay, now I have too many things out. I'm fixing to make a mistake. Okay, so I've got garden green. And we're going to do garden green in this long doohickey right here. Like so. And we're just going to put them down here. Is there a right and wrong way to make this? No, absolutely there isn't. Do they have to be identical? No, absolutely it doesn't. So make it however makes you happy. Now I'm going to use Mossy Meadow, and we're going to stamp. I'm using the 2-bow stamp. And we're just going to put it right there like that. And then we're going to put it right there like that. All right, I'm going to set that aside so I don't stick the wrong stamp into the wrong stamp. Now I'm going to do one holly leaf. I'm going to do the larger one, and you could mask the second one off if you wanted, but because it's a photopolymer, you can actually see it and only ink the one that you want. All right? And then you can go like so. We'll do it a second time. You do have to watch to be sure you haven't overstamped and gotten the other one, but I haven't so far. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. And then I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to pull out my old olive. See, I used almost every single color. It's crazy. I actually even stamped and cut out a granny apple green holly because I thought, well, that might be fun, but it turned out it wasn't. I didn't need it, didn't want it. Okay, so I'm going to use this little, see that little guy right there? I'm going to use him, and he's going to be kind of my last stamp, like so. And then I just have, basically I've just made a kludge of greenery. All right, so we're going to put everything together, and then I'm going to add some more rhinestones because, no, Jean, I will not be live tonight. This is in lieu of that, so I hope you get to watch it. You'll be able to watch the replay. Let's see, I should shut this so I don't have an ink catastrophe here. Okay, and then I'll get my cherry cobbler mat. And use my liquid glue again to adherate that on. I'm pretty impressed so far. Do you know why? Because I have cut all of the pieces the size I actually wanted them, which is kind of crazy. Okay, so now let's put it inside. I used shaded spruce for my card base. And I'm going to use liquid glue again. And then I'm going to pop the front on with dimensionals. And then we're going to get busy with our rhinestones and add a little bit of DSP to the envelope flap, and we'll be done scare. We'll be done scare. All right, let's see. Here's some of these dudes. Yes, I cut them in half. Amy corrupted me long ago. Now I can't seem to work without them. If I have to do full-size ones, it makes me kind of twitchy. So there you go. And I also am not a fan of the minis for some reason. Me and my big fingers just don't like them. Just don't like them. Can't make me like them. So pull the covers off. Pull the covers off. Pull the covers off. There we go. You know, these dimensional covers, they don't want to get off of things. Have you noticed that? They like to hike around on your dog nose, your dog's tail, in my hair. Okay, so here's my last big tip. Before you put the card front on, be sure you're putting it on right side up. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I have ever put the card front or the inner liner in wrong side up or down, but I so have. My theory is there's them who has and them who will. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, I'm going to put my DSP on my envelope flap right quick and then do my rhinestones and we'll be done. You guys have been very, very patient. Got a few more videos for you before the day is out. I do hope you're having a good time. Now I picked this. This is from Painted Christmas, and I thought it really kind of went well with the with all the leaves and the boughs that I used. So that's why I picked it. That's why right there. It was a very, very scientific thought process that I put into that decision. Okay, now all the hard part is done, and by hard I mean stuff I should do whilst not singing. But I feel it coming on. The hills are alive with the sound of music. You got to get the vibrato in there. All right, so then I'm going to use my holiday rhinestones, love, and I'm going to use some evening evergreen. This is actually shaded spruce. And I'm going to put a large one on the sentiment right there, and then I'm going to put some small ones around my collage. I am a very big fan of tucking little rhinestones and embellishments. Your ears, your lucky, lucky ears, Amy. I'm so glad you were still on for that, because if you had missed it, I know how devastated you'd have been. I'm cracking my own self up. It's amazing how funny I am when I've had a lot of coffee. All right, and these are the cherry cobbler ones, obviously. All right, so that looks good. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. And there you go, y'all. There is our card from the 2 sets, Christmas to Remember and Christmas season bundles that go together like peanut butter and jelly. Do not buy peanut butter without jelly. Do not buy jelly without peanut butter. And I hope you've had a good time with this, and I hope you have a great rest of World Card Making Day 2021. Watch for the directions tomorrow on my blog. Thanks so much, guys. See ya.